Greetings and welcome to Moto Matters. It's a beautiful sunny afternoon, a little cool outside. It snowed yesterday and the day before, so I was hoping for plenty of moisture on the track. I was afraid it might even be too wet. That's not the case. A little dusty. But, for us, any moisture's better than the dry and slick we're used to. So we're hoping for a fun day of riding, maybe some exciting stuff. Maybe not. Let's go find out. we're going to do something a little different. Rather than just, playing background music for you to listen to while we ride the trail, I'm just going to talk. I was visiting with an older lady a week or two ago, and we were just talking for a couple of hours, and she liked my stories and whatnot, and thought it was so interesting, and told me I should write a book. But I'm not really interested in doing that. I thought, hey, I can ramble and ramble for anyone who's actually watched the video this far. And if you have watched the video this far, I'm assuming you know who I am and why I sound like this. But just in case you don't, it's been just shy of 2 years now. I was in a pretty serious accident. Spent 5 weeks in the ICU. While there, I spent 3 of it cracked out of my mind on fentanyl. I would not recommend it. It was not an enjoyable time. But as the doctor said, we did what we had to do to keep you alive because your body couldn't handle it at the time. So I had several serious issues going on and a lot. So I'm just not even going to talk about the issues, the accidents. I'm going to share my drug-induced coma with you. So, as I said, 3 weeks, not lucid, not sure what was going on. Several dreams there, normally reoccurring dreams, even though certain parts would be different. One was where I was, trapped in a hospital bed, and they're just taking poor care of us. A bunch of us, they drugged us and kept us comatose, so we couldn't do anything, couldn't move, couldn't get better. So there's that weird dream, and let's call it kind of a nightmare. Then another one, which is very similar, was I was always strapped into a bed, because in my dreams I had broken my neck, and that really happened, by the way. But in the dream, since I had a broken neck, I was not laying in a bed, I was vertical. So the bed sat vertical, and I was strapped into it. And it wasn't a regular hospital bed. It had a steel frame and a black mattress pad, which is totally unrealistic to the reality. And I had to get these caregivers, and they would put bid to take care of me like in-home care, but they'd always ditch me. One, I got real close to the family, and it was hard and sad when they gave up caring for me, and it had been over months in my mind. And another one that kept reoccurring, right? They just basically locked me in the Morton building, and I would try and scream, but couldn't get anyone's attention, couldn't get any help. So I'd kick my leg. Well, in reality, I was really kicking my leg. In reality, I couldn't talk. So, these are not very interesting, not very exciting, not very funny dreams. But this one kind of is. Along those same lines, I'm all, strapped up in a hospital bed, all kinds of tubes and whatnot going on. But in this dream, it wasn't real. In this dream, I was an actor on that television show. Was it Modern Family? Al Bundy's show after his Al Bundy. So I'm an actor playing an injured person in it. And I apparently was fed up with the studio, the show, the producer, the director, I don't remember. But I just, started cussing, throwing a fit, pulling the tubes and the sensors and all this stuff. And I quit my job and I was just going home. I was done with this garbage. I was just going home. Well, the funny thing is I was really pulling tubes. I really pulled, the tube that was down my throat. And I remember waking up after this tube was about 6 inches out, pulled out. And oh my goodness, because it started to burn in my throat. And we're kind of thinking reality, this is real. Then to convince myself, nope, it's all fake, and pulling it the rest of the way out, throwing it down beside me and going back to sleep. And along those lines, with just losing my stuff, throwing I hate to admit it, several profanities. I don't know if this really happened or not. But I think I might have cussed out one of my nurses overnight and just lost my stuff on them. Or it was a dream and it never actually happened. But the reality of it is, it doesn't really matter. Because I couldn't talk at all. I didn't even have any of the voice that I have now. Absolutely no sound because I was on a ventilator. So, even if I did cuss the guy out, he has no clue I did it anyway. Most people couldn't communicate with me or figure out what I wanted. And then later, I'm guessing later that night, maybe the next night, I don't know, next day, no clue. I remember apologizing to the guy for what I said and didn't mean it, and him telling me it was okay. And again, drugged out of my mind. I don't know if it really happened or not. I don't know if any of it really happened or it was all just fictitious in my mind. So, a lot of, because mentally I was lucid enough to see my hospital room and hear my injuries, what was going on between the family and the doctors, that it was all incorporated in these nightmares I was having. In addition to kind of being trapped in a hospital bed, I had other dreams where I was just trapped. One where some guy was trying to rob a bank and we ended up getting trapped between the two sets of doors, in which they're going to suck all the oxygen out and we're going to die. A couple weird dreams along those lines. Just crazy stuff. And, on the trip where the accident happened was a vacation, but the very week before, I was supposed to be away at a conference, but I blew the conference off because I wanted to go on vacation instead. So apparently in this dream world, I was feeling really guilty about it because I kept having the reoccurring dream about actually being at the conference. But the weird part is that I was dying, myself and another older gentleman, and they were waiting for us to die so they could get on with the conference. I remember one guy just upset, needed to go to the next thing, and my goodness, we just wouldn't die. We're an hour behind schedule already. Hurry up and die. And all this weird stuff. And then, movable staircases. It was just crazy weird. Being transported in cars and whatnot. And then texting with a few colleagues, which I do fairly often. And they're texting about me being dead. And then the one guy said, "Hey, stop, don't talk about it yet. He doesn't know." So I was still participating in the group chat, but didn't know I had died, and they didn't want to break it to me. They were waiting for me to figure it out on my own. So that was kind of crazy. And throughout all these fentanyl-induced dreams, which don't do drugs. If this popular drug is anything like the trip I went on, totally not worth it. Don't do it. Because all these dreams are clearly not good dreams. So I had convinced myself that I was dead. I had really just come to the conclusion that I was dead and either just didn't know how to write yet, all these other weird things going on. And I had another series of dreams, which were, if you think these kind of things I'm talking about are dark, these are the mild stuff, the stuff I currently find humorous and entertaining. These were worse, these were dark. They've kind of messed me up, and I don't talk about them. So you're definitely not going to hear about them. But it was just not a good thing. So, interestingly enough, when I finally did wake up, when they brought me out of the induced coma enough, and I was healthy enough and not restless enough, they were able to bring me out. So they apparently tried a couple times before and didn't quite get it done. When they brought me all the way out, and I realized I was still alive, oh my goodness, was I so grateful. Because I knew these dreams were bad dreams, and I certainly couldn't have been heaven. So I thought, the worst was my fate. So I just remember waking up and actually being lucid and realizing I wasn't dead, I wasn't in hell, I was still alive, and oh my goodness, it was like a second chance, just so overjoyed and excited. And again, I had no clue how much time had passed. I thought it had been months. I was thinking, for some reason, 6, 7 months was in my head, or maybe even years. That's how long it was. When I was in the hospital, didn't realize it had only just been a few weeks. So it really kind of messed with my mind as to what was going on. But as I woke up, and one of the nurses was there, I remember, the first thing I asked was, does my family have a place to live? And then, the nurse was able to read my lips, figure out what I was trying to say, or just, heard family or caught family. So yeah, they're right here. At which time, my wife started talking, and my son and even my parents were all sitting there, and I had no clue any of them were there at all this entire time. So it just kind of crazy, weird, which brings us back to that main point of don't do drugs, okay? Drugs are bad, okay? Don't smoke crack. And one of the dreams of being on drugs was I was healthy and fine, but they kept us on drugs and it would never let us sleep. And they'd use us as couriers to all drugs across the country. So we'd just sit there kind of comatose. They'd give us a package, put us on a plane, fly across the country, drop the package, and then fly back. And it'd keep us out drugged out of our mind. So if we couldn't wake up and go back to our normal lives. I remember in this dream, trying to fix myself and wake up, and I just couldn't do it because of the drugs. So it's just a lot of weird, messed up, crazy dreams. And then, after the fact, even when I went back a year later, talking to one of the nurses about this, there was a hospital bed in the hallway. He said, see this hospital bed? Normal, been in use the last 40, 50 years. I said, yep, whenever you came and saw me, this is not what I was in. That I was strapped vertical and would kick. Well, come to find out, they had a bed extender in, which was an extra foam pad. Gave me an extra 6 inches I could dig my heels in. And that's what I was putting my feet against. And I thought I was vertical on. And when in these dreams, when I would kick, I would really kick. And they would have to come in and kind of calm me down. And there's this nurse, great guy, kind of bonded. He was able to communicate or understand me better than anyone else. I lucidly remember one time him coming in and getting right up close to me, holding on to me, telling me to calm down, to quit fighting and just relax. Everything was okay, to go ahead and relax. And then he barely understood me say that I think the bed is going to fall over. Because I remember him telling me, kind of stroking my head and saying, it's not going to fall. The bed's not going to fall over. Then he took the rail of the bed and shook it to show me how solid and steady it was. These beds are well made and not going to fall over. And of course I was laying down in a hospital bed. No chance of falling over at all. But in my mind, this bed was up on end and just had little feet that went out to maybe an extra 2-3 feet to keep him from falling forward. But that was my fear throughout all of it. And he kind of got it, or didn't understand why I got it. Then when I explained it to him, he laughed. So we had a nice little laugh after the fact about my unwarranted fears. And then it kind of made sense to him why I acted the way I did so often. Because my reality, which was not reality, was nothing close to what he saw and what he knew. So entertaining, kind of fun, kind of sad all at the same time. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to share with you, dream-wise. Maybe not. But, and this, maybe not so much a dream, just entertainment. But at shift change, I would hear a noise that sounded to me like a bunch of pills being poured out over a desk. So I thought, oh, they're divvying up all the medication for all the patients at night. Well, no, that ain't right. They can't do that. And I realized, oh, I'm in Mormon country, Mormon territory. They can't have caffeine. So they're all on the night shift, can't drink coffee to stay awake, no pop or energy drinks. So they're eating candy to get a sugar high to keep them up all night. So in my mind, when I heard this sound, they were pouring candy out over the table and divvying it up between all the night shift nurses to get a sugar rush to stay up all night. And when I went back, I told a different nurse this. She laughed and thought it was hilarious. They had so much fun, she called in a couple other nurses to hear the story. And they're all kind of shaking their heads as to what I heard, that what would make that sound. And they couldn't figure anything out that would make that sound. And I can't either. But, when they did the shift change, I was hearing something that just gave me weird thoughts. Again, nowhere close to reality. But it's interesting what the drugs will do to fill in the gaps and make the entertainment. And I'm watching the video as I'm talking. We got a couple minutes left of us here going through the sand wash. But I'm kind of out of stories as far as dreams go, or at least dreams I'm going to share with you. I did have a dream that turned out to not be a dream. It was my daughter there. The only dream she was really in was I sat up and gave her a hug, and she said, "Oh, I get the first hug, blah, 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 blah," making a big deal about it. And then I thought, oh, that didn't really happen, because I was flat on my back in bed, strapped down. So I had to think, that must have been a dream. That wasn't reality. And my family later shared with me that no, that really did happen. So I thought, oh, and she just bent over the bed and just gave me a hug while I laid there. And nope, they had explained to me that they had me setting up even when I was still not even lucid. It's part of therapy. One of the therapists, a great guy we got very close with. He was the guy, after I did wake up, the guy I trusted to get me out of bed, to take care of me. The only one I really trusted. But he had me sitting vertical, and he held me from behind, and I never even knew this. That he would hold me up, and he would work my legs to keep everything moving, even though I didn't even know it. Didn't even know he was there. But, that, I thought it was a dream, but it was reality. So again, drug-induced situation, not even sure what reality was, what reality wasn't. In my dreams, I was often in a hospital room, trapped, as they could drug us and keep us from getting away. And my room number was infinity. The side, I realized, oh, they did that, so we can't figure out what room we're in, so we can't contact our family to come and get us, tell them where we are to come, get us out of this place, to free us. And, the room number's on the outside of the room, not the inside, so I have no clue of what I was seeing that I thought was an infinity emblem, or logo, which would have been the room number. And I convinced myself it was maybe a number 3 or number 8 that I was turning on the side, but not true at all again. Room numbers on the outside. Well, just what a crazy mess. But I'm glad it's over, and thanks for watching.